I want my Calypso.
So, Herat, you know I want my Calypso.
Let me tell you, I really, really need my Calypso, okay?
Calypso has been an integral component of our annual cultural showpiece, Carnival, also known as Mass or Vaval, throughout the Caribbean for decades. During that time, other genres of music have become a byproduct of the art form, namely soca. However, with 2020 came a historical disruption in this ritual with the onset of the widespread, notorious coronavirus, also termed COVID-19. The protocols enforced banned mass crowd events. All had to accept that there would be no carnival this year when the official announcement was made back in late March.
The official press release from the Ministry of Culture and Creative Industries reads, quote, "Considering the issues, the government of St. Lucia, while recognizing the cultural and economic importance of the festival, has decided that it would be in the best interest if St. Lucia Carnival 2020 is postponed to July 2021.
How horrific! The pandemic by then had already caused so much uncertainty, a halt to life as we know it, and now no carnival? A time of year when many parties benefit not just economically but socially. During the mayhem of it all, the sanitizing, the mask wearing and social distancing during mandatory full and partial lockdown, creatives have been bubbling with ideas. How can we continue entertainment amid this world crisis? Because the reality is, Corona is not going away soon. You saw the Great Lockdown, a 4-day music online festival brought to you by So Keen Media and Dupes Did It Music over a 4-day period. It was a resounding success featuring local, Caribbean and international artists. Next in line, Voice of the People, focused on Calypso. Before we get into it, let us go back to the roots. What is Calypso? It is documented that Calypso originally came from the Caribbean island of Trinidad and Tobago. Its lyrical content, usually witty and satiric, speaking on political and national issues with a tone of mockery, allusion, and even double entendre. Many Calypso enthusiasts and followers say that because of the nature of its social commentary, the art form can serve as a history lesson. In fact, if one were to accumulate and piece together a series of Calypso throughout the years in sequence, it will illustrate changes and events throughout time. Gene Lawrence, in a performance back in 2016, explains. He says, Calypso has more than just entertainment value and purpose. Fast forward to 2020. The absence of tents, competition, stage theater, and so the voice of the people was born. Perhaps the start of much needed evolution of the art form that revolutionists have been clamoring for years. Voice of the People, a Calypso docuseries and competition, a virtual stage for Calypsonians to showcase and perform.
Welcome and sunny greetings from St. Lucia, and of course we are here at the beautiful Island Mix, which is going to be home to our docu-series. So welcome to Voice of the People. Now I'm Taylor Mendez, I'm going to be your host throughout this series, and I'm definitely a lover of what we're doing right now, because Voice of the People is, simply put, a docu-series which is going to be carried online, as well as a collaboration with DBS TV and So Keen Media. So there's so much to look out for, and I know many of you may have been hearing the rumors that Calypso is a dying art form. But we're here to dispel all these myths, because we're going to prove you wrong. As we journey throughout this series, you will get to see a lot of our Calypso legends, as well as the up and rising newcomers who are ready to prove that Calypso is far from being out of the game. So right now, I figured the best way to start things off is going back to our roots. So we are going to journey and understand the history of Calypso through Gene Lawrence.
Calypso started way back in the 17th century. There have never been any real evidence to show, and the concrete evidence to show any connection between Calypso and slavery. But in spite of that, a lot of research by many musicologists have gone on, and they could see the great influence that the African culture has had on our songs, our music, our artistic development in what was then called the New World. An American musicologist called Maud Hare, in one of her big writings, said the traditions of the Karuri people was handed down from them generation to generation. That was done by sages, and those sages were known as Kogulans, Kogulamas, Kogulans, and they mean they are called people. They are just storytellers, really. But later on, I'm going to be doing a few pieces to show you how the history of our Caribbean islands, this whole region, has been written in Calypso. But to summarize a bit, you know, Calypso has advanced and improved so much over the years. And now we don't only sing in a minor key. There was a guy called Chieftain Douglas, was the first Calypsonian really to sing in a major key. All Calypso before was all in a minor key. But nowadays, most of the Calypsos we know is in a major key. That happened way back in 1921. From 1903 to 1921, Calypso was only in minor keys. It's only after that that we start to sing major. And with the major key, it opened up a whole new set of songs. Many of them you remember, all the old time things like why and she tell why and she tell oh lady walk on my lawn and she tell oh Lord oh lady walk on my lawn and she tell, and you know they would go on like things. I say brown skin gal stay home and mind baby, brown skin gal stay home and mind baby, I'm going away in a sailing boat, and if I don't come back, throw away the damn baby. Brown skin. Yeah, so, you know, that was really a very important era when things changed to the major key. But so that I could give you a little idea of what Calypso has been doing for us in writing the history of these islands, I want to do excerpts from a few Calypsos of important events that have taken place over the years. I want to take you to a time when the first really large flying machine visited the Caribbean. It was the German Royal Air Force Zeppelin, and it was known as the Graf Zeppelin. Attila sang a song. He said, one Sunday morning, look a chance to hear a rumbling, a tumbling in the atmosphere. It was on Sunday morning, look a chance to hear a rumbling and a tumbling in the atmosphere. I turned to stare. People were flocking everywhere, gesticulating, they pointing, gazing in the air. Here's a Graf Zeppelin that had come to pay a visit to Trinidad. Let me hear that. A Graf Zeppelin that had come to pay a visit to Trinidad. Now, you know, I gaze at the Zeppelin contemplatively. I marveled at man's ingenuity, you know, to see this mighty object floating in the air, maintaining perfect equilibrium in the atmosphere, gloriously, wondrously, beautifully, decidedly defying all the laws of gravity. Is a Graf Zeppelin that come to pay a visit to Trinidad. Oh my my boy, this Graf Zeppelin that had come to pay a visit to Trinidad. No, that was way before the war days. You know, the war came around. Hey, listen now, Yankee bases all over the islands, St. Lucia, Trinidad, full of Americans. A calypso that was made that became a disputed calypso because some American artists by the name of the Andrew Sisters decided to say that this calypso was made by them. The calypso was rum and Coca-Cola down by Green Corner, boatman and daughter waiting for the Yankee dollar. I say mum and Coca-Cola down in Point Cumana, both mother and daughter waiting for the Yankee dollar. He says money in the bank, the Yankee dollar day. The money in the bank is the Yankee dollar day. You can't forget as well, war days, you know, Martinique was Germany, because Germany had invaded France. And an incident occurred right here in St. Lucia, where one of them lady ships, we used to travel to the islands, Lady Rodney, Lady Nelson. You got a torpedo with a submarine. Calypso captured that moment. They said, "Is the Lord that saved Lady Nelson? The Lord save Lady Nelson. A submarine attacked her in Castries Harbor, right in the center. The torpedo hit her. Good Lord save Lady Nelson. The Lord save Lady Nelson." Talking about calypsos and torpedoes, in Trinidad as well, there was a story going around that outside the Bocas of Trinidad, they captured a German U-boat. A U-boat is under a submarine. And when they put the officers ashore, in the pocket of one of the officers, they had a ticket for Globe Cinema Port of Spain. So them fellas was all in town. And Calypso that year brought out a song. Calypsonians even decided to sing German. They had German soldiers and sailors all over the town. The fella say, "I went to Berlin on a donkey. One of Hitler guard tried to stop me, look boy. I went to Berlin on a donkey. One of Hitler guard tried to stop me. I gave him the atom as he wished. He asked me what I selling. I say saltfish. He say, Lord, today is bacchanal. Hitler himself in tongue playing carnival. You son of a Venice, in Silumenish, in Puxima, in Silumenish, all kind of gluten, scrotum diminish. Hitler said to send back the saltfish. Rokanya Venice, in Silumenish, in Tuxima, in Silumenish, all kind of gluten, scrotum diminish. Hitler said to send back the saltfish. That was after. Well, let me tell you something. But of course, the war was over. American bases all over these islands, the people want their land back. So after much political activity, we managed to get the lands back. And most people were happy. But a certain section of the community were very, very disappointed. And a Calypso classic was made by a young fella who you will all now know. But at that time his name was not so well known. He sang, "The girls in town feeling bad. No more Yankee in Trinidad. They're gonna close down the base for good. Those girls got to make out how they could. You should see them pack up in town. They're in for a penny and for a pound. Yes, it's competition for so. Trouble in the town when the price drop low. You're meeting with Jean and Dinah, Rosita and Clement. Let me hear it. By the corner posing. Bet your life is something they're selling. And if you catch them broken, you can get it all for nothing. Don't make no row. You know the Yankees gone, Sparrow take over. Oh Lord, I say the Yankees gone, Sparrow take over."
Hey, so you're back, and thank you so much for joining us. If you just tuned in too, don't worry, you've not missed a thing. We just started, and of course it's all about voice of the people, and we're going to get back to Jean soon because there's still so much that we've not touched on yet with regards to the history of Calypso. But I just want to help you understand even more what we're aiming to do, because it is a group of people who've come together who are very passionate about the art form and refuse to believe that this is going to be the end of it. I think it's only just the beginning, and of course with technology, when we look at other genres, you realize that Calypso is the only one that's not so present, especially on social media, on the YouTubes, etc. So we are going to be making a change. Shout out again to the team at So Keen Media. And we have a total of 5 persons with this docuseries. So again, this is definitely a journey, and we're going to grow, learn the music, but also get to know the people behind the music, because we know Calypso is social commentary. Come on, it's a fact. But we have to know the people behind those voices as well. So we have 5 persons, 3 of which are very seasoned, and should I even say monarchs themselves. So it's going to be interesting to understand from their standpoint, their journey, and of course what keeps them going. And apart from that, the other 2 persons are on the rise, and these are the future. These people are going to be the movers and shakers and game changers and bringing Calypso to the next level. So it's going to be a very interesting mix of old and new, but of course nothing forgotten, and we definitely are going to have such an exciting journey here. But with all that said, I think it's time for us to get back to Jean, because there's still so much for us to learn.
But Calypso also covers all the sport, you know. I want to do a little Calypso about cricket, which was one of the sports that these islands were very, very involved in. It was the only sport actually that we reached all the international heights in, was cricket. The first cricket match that we beat England on was in 1950, and it was with 2 special bowlers, Ramadan from Trinidad and Valentine from Jamaica. Calypso said, "Cricket, lovely cricket, at Lord's where I saw it. Cricket, lovely cricket, at Lord's where I saw it. England tried their best, but the West Indies won the test. With these little pals of mine, Ramadan and Valentine. With these little pals of mine, Ramadan and Valentine. They boasted of Compton as a running machine, but the gentleman collapsed meeting Ramadan. To see his performance at the Oval was like an amateur boxer in first trial. He made 40, he made it nice, but he was also LBW twice. And when Sonny did appeal and shout, the umpire refused to give him out. Ramadan, you deserve a title, Sir Ramadan, followed by a medal. And listen, boy, you cannot leave behind the invincible Jamaican Valentine. Oh, oh, bam, 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 bam. One of the greatest cricket matches we ever had was a Chinese cricket match. People never see Chinese play cricket before, you know. Even football they seem to have trouble with. The fellas say they're not good at football because every time they get a corner, they open a shop. But anyway, let me just tell you, the cricket went like this. I had a read in yesterday paper, a cricket match with some Chinese players. Yes, I read in the Star newspaper, a cricket match with some Chinese players. Now you say the Indian name funny, but to me you can't beat the Chinese, as if the Chinese does get their name from the beating of the steel band in Port of Spain. Is Ling Nang, who can bowl by Ching Chang and Ping Pong, LBW Ling Tang. You know the whole oval shout when Ling Ting get wing, Ping Ting, Ling Ting out. Oh God, the whole oval shout when Ling Ting get wing, Ping Ting, Ling Ting out. That gives you a little taste of what could happen with some of the sports in the region.
Hey Calypso fam, what's up? So I hope you noticed this is my little cozy corner. That's because we're gonna get up close and personal. And you may be wondering what makes me credible to host this. Well, let's just say I am a Calypso lover and I have my own history, my fair share with Calypso. It started when I was in secondary school at the St. Joseph's Convent. Every year I sang to represent my class, my form. Never wanted to go out and represent the school. I wasn't that brave yet. But when I left school and entered the working world, I sang Intercommercial House Competition 2 years in 2007 and 2008, but I'm still young, thank you very much, and definitely still great. So I won't say anymore. Take a look at this performance, and that way you can understand a little bit as to why I'm sitting in this chair.
Control for sure, it's like never before. I ain't preaching gloom and doom, but we have to fix this soon. Afraid, afraid, afraid of my generation. Afraid, afraid, afraid of my generation. They done in the robbing, they done in the raping, they done in the killing. What is happening? So in justification. Afraid, afraid, afraid of my generation. Girl, I have observer status. Yeah man, look me. I have observer status in the supermarket. I just observe it. I can't buy nothing. Something gone wrong in St. Lucia. Front every day. Everybody crying, but nothing is changing. Price of food and making dough. Don't know how poor people cope. They telling you and me we must eat healthy. How you want me eat healthy? I can't buy the damn grocery. The chicken price too high. A pound of rice too high. The carnation too high. That provision too high. Somebody find a solution before the whole country die of starvation. That price is too high. That price is too high. Too high. Too high. Too high. Too high. Too high. Boy, supermarket wars. It's giving me blows. Oil prices rise, and that is true. But them profits rising up too. Show a little mercy for poor people like me. Children go to school hungry, nothing inside the belly. We must find a solution, cause in my vision I see that a hungry man will become an angry man. A pound of cheese too high, the pigeon peas too high, a dozen eggs too high, the chicken leg too high. Somebody find a solution for the whole country die of starvation. Them prices too high. Them prices too high. Too high. Too high. Too high. Too high. Too high.
On the next episode of Voice of the People.
So this is the advantage we have in terms of Calypsonians, in terms to have that poetic license, and we can go out and express ourselves and carry that message out to the public, not only to St. Lucians but also over the world. Because now we realize that Calypso, when you come to the tent, Calypso are posted on YouTube, and persons all over the world now go to YouTube and they see that what St. Lucia has to offer in terms of Calypso music.
What are the goals?
Very important question. Very important question.
The song Mashup Yellow Man really was about the popular Jamaican artist Yellow Man, who in the 80s was about the most popular dub artist with all these tracks, Hamburger and Mashup and Over Me. And so I fuse the reggae to Calypso. As a matter of fact, the bass line of the song was the same bass line which Yellow Man used in his popular tracks. But I did it faster. So people were already used to that bass line.
As a young girl growing up, I didn't know what I really want. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know anything. And I had that dream. Myself climbing a ladder with a mic. And that's how I knew. That's what I want to do. It was my dream. That's why I always tell young people to follow your dreams. You know, you have to have a dream. So that was my dream, singing. Although I do other stuff, I'm interested in other stuff, I do other stuff, but what I love is singing, and that's what I do.
Hey, you're back already? Oh, are we done? Wow, okay. Sorry about that. I was just organizing things with my backup singer because you'll know I might have some surprises in store for you later. But this is where I guess I'm going to have to say goodbye. I left you in the very capable hands of Jean Lawrence, but of course, as they say, all good things must come to an end. So for now, we're going to say goodbye, but you have to keep on watching, keep on following us, and I want to say a special thank you to everybody who's come together to make this happen. Of course, shout out to Sokin Media, shout out DBS TV, shout out to Media Central, everybody who's making this possible, and of course, we want to bid you farewell. Keep singing, keep vibing, keep loving the music, and spread the word, because we're going to be back very soon, and of course, she'll be waiting.
Power and authority. There are so many signs we just can't ignore. I sit and ask myself why. Why go back to Sodom and Gomorrah again? Look what is happening in Gomorrah. Selfishness and greed in Gomorrah. Nobody is taking heed in Gomorrah. Every day is a bloodshed.